Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Friday the 5th of January 2024. In today's Millwall news, another day, another player. Apparently, another player that we've missed out on, apparently. But this is just speculation. I think they're just saying, because it's a player we were linked with before. I'm not sure in this summer, maybe last January when we were trying to loan some players. So this is from footballleagueworld.co.uk. Ipswich Town set to beat Millwall and Preston North End to Blackburn Rovers player. The Tractor Boys are closing in on their second signing of the transfer window already, with Travers set to join. So you may remember him as a centre midfielder who plays for Blackburn Rovers. And kind of weirdly, like immediately after, obviously, the debacle. Oh yeah, I think it was last summer, because after that game against Blackburn, we've been linked with this guy. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, they're saying Ipswich are set to sign him, and then we get a mention all the way down here, and it just says the Tractor Boys. So TWTD, I think that's an Ipswich fan site. It says the Tractor Boys have managed to fend off interest to secure his signature with Millwall, and Preston North End also believed to have been interested in securing a loan deal for Travers. So that's the only time they mention Millwall. I don't know if that's like true in terms of this window, but obviously we were linked with him in the last window. So our Odus Operandi, or whatever it's called, is that we do go back in for players that we tried to get before, and it seems that our persistence is kind of a selling point to the players. Like, oh, they're back again. They must really, really want me. And that seems to work, but so it didn't work this time because Travers said, "Yeah, I'll go to Ipswich," and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so obviously a loan deal, which does fit in with what we're trying to do, but a centre midfielder. So does that mean Alan Campbell would be going back? Are we trying to get a better one in or a new one in and then let Alan Campbell go out on loan? Or go back from his loan, send him back to Luton? There's a lot of speculation about that. Or maybe even there are some people talking about Billy Mitchell going out on loan, maybe to Charlton or somewhere like that. I don't know. But if we are trying to sign a central midfielder, it would suggest that something's happening. Because I mentioned yesterday, we might be signing that Todd Kane, who's a right back. And then you'll find that today we got news this morning that Brook Norton-Cuffy's injured, so that kind of makes sense then. That we might want to be signing a right back if he's injured, because then we've only got Harding's the other right back, and McNamara. So McNamara will be playing. Then who backs him up? Or Ryan Leonard? So I don't know, but Ryan Leonard can't play everywhere. Talking about signings, here we go. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. I get some agent calls. Travel agent? Ticket agent? No, I think he's talking about football agent. Joe Edwards on his involvement in Mill's transfer window business. Joe Edwards is using his extensive coaching experience to help compile background information on Mill's transfer targets. The Lions' activity in the window will be overseen by Alex Aldridge, their Director of Football Operations and Recruitment. But that does not prevent Edwards, appointed head coach in November, from being approached by agents. I get some calls, but Alex gets far more than me, Edwards told the South London Press. More of my dialogue is with people at clubs. I get a lot more network in the coaching world than I have in the agent world. If I've got former colleagues at a Premier League club or elsewhere that are working with players that are potentially on our radar, they can ask for a reference or get some heads up on who might be available. I definitely have an involvement in speaking to people, but actually it's definitely the person who does the majority of the networking. Then it simply works that we sit together very often and speak about where we are at with our team, and then where we want to strengthen them, and then what does that look like. If we're talking about a particular area of the pitch or position, then what really is the profile we're looking for. Then between Alex and the team of scouts he heads up, they dig into the database, keep looking, and then they come back to us as a coaching team with some information and some video on potential targets. Any that catch our eye, we start digging deeper and looking into it. And now that January's in the open, talks start progressing with certain leads, and we can say where we go. Millwall won 3 in a row to ease fears of being dragged into the Championship relegation fight, so does that make it easier to attract new players? I'm unsure really, because when players make a decision to move, there are loads of different aspects to their process. You could definitely argue that if a team were rock bottom in January and not playing well at all, then that isn't a particularly glamorous prospect to jump into. But at the same time, you can look at players who want to come and make a really big impact. And all of a sudden, we've had a settled team of players could be questioning whether they will come and get a lot of game time. So there's probably a bit of swings and roundabouts. So there you go. And more from Joe Edwards, this time from the SouthwarkNews.co.uk. Joe Edwards responds to question on Mill being linked with a loan move for young Chelsea defender. The transfer window has only been open for a few days, but speculation is already rife among fans. Now, what do you think he said? Do you think he said, I can't comment on that. I can't talk about another club's players, but he's someone who's very good, and we'd love to have him at the club. So some kind of manager speak like that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Joe Edwards did not wish to go into detail on transfer speculation linking Millwall with a loan move for Chelsea defender Alfie Gilchrist. The transfer window opened on January the 1st and marks the first time the Lions head coach can recruit new players after he arrived in November. Well, he could have signed players who were out of contract. Unconfirmed reports in recent days have suggested young Blues defender Gilchrist might be one of the first names to arrive during a transfer window that is not expected to be busy at the Den. The rumours were put to Edwards, a former coach at Chelsea, during his virtual press conference ahead of Mill's FA Cup game against Leicester tomorrow. Asked about him being linked with moves to Chelsea players, he said, I can see why that's always going to happen. If I'm honest at this stage, I probably wouldn't go into detail about any particular player or position. I wouldn't put it out there of what we're looking at, but we're definitely looking and doing a lot of work for a few weeks now. But in terms of really pinpointing any positions or players, I wouldn't elaborate any more on that, but I understand why it comes up. So he's not even going to talk about the positions of the players that he's trying to sign, because that's obviously going to upset the players who are in the squad. But we all know it. Like, you've got players who are 32, 33. I mean, how much longer they got? They've got this season, and then maybe one more season, and then it's goodbye Vienna. Like, thank you very much, and thanks for the fish. You need to move on, because it's very unlikely you're going to be competing at a level we need to compete at in the Championship. So that's the reality of it. That's the reality of age. Time is undefeated, and it will get you too, brother. It will get to you too. So here we go. Gilchrist, 20, is an up-and-coming defender at Stamford Bridge, who's currently on the fringes of first-team football amid Chelsea's injuries. He's come off the bench in the final few minutes of their last two matches, wins over Crystal Palace and Luton Town, and might be hoping for more football this weekend when Chelsea hosts Championship Preston North End in the FA Cup. Well, if he's cup-tied, no, I don't want him then. If he's cup-tied, no, I'm joking. But yeah, that might be a concern if we do get through this round and into the fourth round, and we do end up getting players that are cup-tied. That might be a problem, especially if we carry on getting injuries and these players are coming in to fill the gaps left by these injuries. So talking about what we've just talked about, here's Shaun Hutchinson. So Mill's centre-back has appearance-based trigger on his contract. What's this about? It doesn't say that it has been triggered, but he says he has one. So that's a bit precarious. If someone wants him if someone wants him out, if they want to heave him out, they can just not play him. Is that why we're looking for a new centre back? LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Mill centre back has appearance-based trigger on his contract. Well, that's great, isn't it? Thank you so much for that. Shaun Hutchinson has revealed that there are triggers in his Mill contract to extend his stay in SC16 into a 9th season. The Geordie centre-back scored a stoppage-time winner at Bristol City as the Lions recorded the third straight Championship win and fourth clean sheet in a row. Hutchinson, 33, has made 252 appearances for Millwall since joining in the summer of 2016 after being released by Fulham. Well, it's pretty normal when you get to my age and that clubs generally start to run more year-to-year contracts. Rather than the big two or three contracts, 3-year contracts, the Lions captain told the South London press shortly before Christmas. I run out in the summer. There are appearance-based triggers in there, but in terms of pen-to-paper contracts, this is me coming up at the end of the season. Like, I'm pretty much just playing and doing what I can to do day to day. I'll see what the future holds. If the club decides in the summer, then we'll move from there. I'm not overly thinking about it too much. I'm aware how contracts work, and when you get to the last stage of your career, and I'm no different. It is a conversation to be had later in the year. At the moment, it's about putting results up, getting wins and performances, doing everything we think we can as a team. So there you go. So he's talking about it. So he's literally what is it? He's released details of something that's in his contract. Now, why is he doing that? Does he? I don't know. That is weird. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Why is he like? What's the motive for him for letting this out, making it public? So then, if he doesn't play, which I don't know why he wouldn't, because he seemed alright. He seemed very good in the last game, in the last couple of games. So he's taken him a while to get in, but if he doesn't play, then the fans will know. Maybe this is the reason why he hasn't been playing. It's not because he's not any good anymore. It's because he's 33, and the club are umming and ahhing about giving him a new contract. So they could either. It looks like it's automatic if it comes in, but then what they could do, I think they did this before with someone, I don't remember who it was. So they could not play him, not trigger the extension, let his contract run out, and then offer him a new contract in the summer, saying, well, you're 34 next year, you know, you're going to be a sub, you're not going to be a massive, you're going to be a main player in the first team, and they'll try and lower his wages, and he'll have to like bite the bullet and say, okay, well, you either get the hump and storm off and say fuck that shit, or you say, yeah, I'm one more year here, yeah, it's fine, I'll like keep the routine, don't have to change anything in my life, just keep doing what I'm doing for another year, and then just change it at the end and then change it on my own terms. Well, yeah, kind of weird that I don't know why he's putting this out, but there you go. Obviously, if he does get another year, does that mean he goes into his 10th year then? And that's what, testimonial time. Now, also from the South London Press, London News Online, Millwall prospect on Atletico Madrid transfer link, and head coach being key to penning a new long-term contract. So obviously, the South London Press go to print. Remember that? Remember paper? You remember paper that you could touch and hold? Paper? They do that on a Tuesday and a Friday. So on Fridays they have generally long interviews with players, and this is one of them now with Aidomo Emakhu, and we're going to read it and have a look at it. So a new long-term contract signed and greater first-team involvement. Life is good for Aidomo Emakhu, but Millwall's exciting young attacking prospect 20 is certainly not getting carried away by the praise that has headed his way since a man-of-the-match performance in a 2-0 win over QPR on Boxing Day. There were plenty of Millwall fans clamouring for Emakhu's inclusion in Joe Edwards' starting lineup, and the performance put in against the Yars led to Emakhu making it back-to-back championship starts for the second time this season, as he played 72 minutes as the Lions defeated Norwich 1-0 at the Den in the final action of 2023. Media back in his native Ireland reported that Spanish giants Atletico Madrid had scouted the former Shamrock Rovers player in under-21 action for his country against Norway and Italy. I'm not going to lie, I did read up about it. I saw it in the papers and I heard about it as well, Emakhu told the South London Press. But I just focus on performing on the pitch, and I leave the transfer talk to Millwall and my agents. The contract discussion started around the middle of October, but my attention was on my football, because that's what gets the conversation started in the first place. I tried to blow out noise, and that whatever happens, happens. I 100% always felt I was going to sign. It was about the club, the agent, and the player coming to agreement on what was right for all parties. I'm glad we got it done in the end. With Joe, the new gaffer, coming in, that played a big part in me signing. Because I wanted to play and learn under him, take my game to another level. I think he's the one can do that. Emakhu is still a relative novice with 67 first team matches under his belt, 21 of those for Millwall, and he's determined to stay grounded. I think that when you get a new contract, more game time and more exposure, then players tend to get sidetracked and attracted to the outside noise that comes with it, said Emakhu. But for me, it's about coming in every day, giving 100%, and then coming back and doing the same thing again the next day. It's quite simple, really. Reset and go again. Then on the weekend, the reward is to play the game. And that's the mentality I have. In your free time, you can spend with your family or friends. But none of it needs to be complicated. I'm enjoying every moment and taking every opportunity as it comes. Even if I'm not performing at my best, and I'm still learning, and it will make my game better. Emakhu found out he was starting against QPR on the day of the game. We came in that morning and had the meeting. I saw my name on the board, he said. It was game head on from there. The gaffer told me what he expected from me, but most importantly, he also emphasised about going out and enjoying it, going out and showing how good you are. He gave me that bit of freedom and confidence that I could go on the pitch and just be myself. Emakhu assisted Romain Esse on the opening day of the season at Middlesbrough and scored his first goal in English football against Norwich in August, but is the reverse fixture against the Canaries that is his favourite match since joining the South Londoners. Or simply because it had a bit of everything, said Emakhu, who signed for Millwall a year ago for an undisclosed fee. The atmosphere that was created then that evening was unbelievable. I wanted to start it all over again when it finished because the atmosphere was that good. The fans were really good and the team were unbelievable. We grounded out. We played some good football and defended well when we had to. And played a big part as we got 3 points. There you go. Yes, absolutely fantastic. But again, weird stuff happening that he signs a new contract and then he's automatically in the team. He's thrown straight into the team straight after he signs that contract. All very weird with this contract stuff. We had the same thing last season. Danny McNamara was rumoured his contract was running out this summer. It was rumoured that he was going to QPR. There were offers from QPR, and he's out of the team. He's dropped out of the team. Millwall being very too slick for their own good with these contracts, I think. I don't know, but is that the guy Alex Aldridge doing that? I don't know. Is that why Gary Rowett left? I don't know. We got this from Southwark News. They're doing this thing this season. I don't know if you enjoy it or not. I don't know, but we're going to have a read of it. Millwall fans panel ranking Joe Edwards' reign so far. January transfer wish list. The FA Cup returns and teenage dart sensation Luke Littler. Hail Littler. As usual, everything in football, Millwall and beyond is up for discussion. Welcome to another edition of the News at Den fans panel. Every few weeks we'll be talking to 3 of our 7 members, all lifelong Lions fans, to gauge their views on Millwall football, sport and the world at large. Joining the panel and making their debuts are Estates Manager Matt 41, Markets Risk Manager Tony 51, and returning for his third appearances PE Teacher Charlie 23. So here we go. So Matt, how would you rate Joe Edwards' opening stint as Lions boss out of 10 and why? Joe is a very good coach coming from the Chelsea ranks like some other coaches. To come to Millwall would be a challenge for most managers, and not to mention one that has no club management experience. I felt that December would always be rocky with the teams that we were facing and the style that Joe wants to bring to the team. Most or all of the players would not have experienced this style of play. His hunger and determination to win in a style that he wants, and that was going to take time. I can now see what he's trying to do, what the players are trying to do, and the recent results prove that. Therefore, I give Joe a solid 8 out of 10, and I feel that it will get better once he starts on the squad, becomes more apparent. George Saville's red card in that Norwich game is really split opinion. Where do you stand on it? I feel it was a red, not for the type of tackle. It was a tactical foul, but I felt that in real time it was very cynical and dangerous. Unlike a nudge or a slide, he came in scissor type tackle and gave the ref no hesitation. Shaun Hutchinson came in for Wes Harding and was really impressive at Bristol City, even before his late goal. What do you think would happen when Harding returns? Who should be starting in Millwall's back three? Hutch coming into the team in the absence of Wes Harding. I had my doubts as I felt he was a little off the pace the last time he played, but he slotted in immensely. A leader on the pitch would give Jake Cooper a respite. However, Wes Harding has also been impressive when playing, but is now down to Wes to win back that position. If a player is to perform to the highest peak, it's up to the other defender to match or better that. So no, I don't think Wes should come in until there's an opportunity for him to get back in. It's healthy competition at the end of the day. What type of players do Millwall need in January? The January window is looming, and I feel that we need to bolster in all areas going forward and ensure that we have 2 or 3 people who can do the role. Build that competitiveness and desire, and also to prevent from fatigue, which will come eventually. For me, I would look at another creative midfielder, another wide players. I would have Emakhu starting up top, but we also have talented youngsters, so do we go down that route? And I don't care about the darts. Prediction for Saturday: Millwall 1, Leicester 3. Tony 51. Just 11 games into Joe Edwards' reign. It always feels like so much has happened. What have you made of the ups and downs so far? I thought Edwards was an interesting and brave appointment, but must confess to some worries after early results, performances and selection decisions, but always knew he needed time. Performances have improved gradually and results have followed. Players seem very together and fitter, which is also a good sign. That win over Norwich felt huge to me and a potential turning point in what has been a fairly mediocre campaign so far. Were you at the game and how highly did you rate the win? Unfortunately, I was away, so I wasn't at the Norwich game, but I watched it via Millwall TV. I thought it was an old school Millwall win against a very good and expensively assembled side. We seemed to bully them, and the behaviour of Ashley Barnes in particular brought the crowd into play. There's some rumours from the Norwich fans that he might be on his way out. Apparently, the manager not too pleased with him after that. Gary Rowett always struggled with these sort of games, but Edwards seems to grasp the unique atmosphere that the Den can create. The January transfer window is open. How many players do you Millwall need and in what positions? Well, we always need 3 players. Every team always needs 3 players in every window. That's how it goes. It's very demanding like that, isn't it? Firstly, we really need a good January window. Our last 2 have been poor, and I think last year's cost us in the playoffs. I think we need, as a minimum, a centre-back, a winger, and a tall centre-forward. We don't need any more central midfielders. Well, did you see the story about we tried to sign the Blackburn guy on loan, Lewis Travers? Did you see that? The year 2023 proved to be quite a memorable 12 months on Planet Millwall. What memories will stick with you? Well, obviously the ones... the second half against Blackburn, the sad passing of John Berylson. Elsewhere in the Championship, we've seen Ipswich's form suddenly desert them. Who do you think will end up in the top 2 in the 4 playoff places? I think Leicester will win it. Well, yes, that's obvious, isn't it? Southampton also promoted for the playoffs. I will go Ipswich, Leeds, West Brom, and Coventry. Prediction for Saturday. Having seen Millwall in the final, I'm not bothered by the FA Cup, so we'll expect Edwards to use the game to rest some players, as I think Leicester will, but I'm going to say Millwall 1, Leicester 0. And here we go with Charlie, much younger than the previous 2 gentlemen. A hugely fruitful festival programme for Millwall with 10 points out of 12. Did you see that coming? Where did it come from? That many games over the festive period, it's always going to be tough. I did expect us to beat Huddersfield and QPR at home, but then again, with our up and down form at home, you never know. Norwich was a surprising win. Before the game, anyone would have taken a draw, so pleasantly surprised. Stoke, a draw away from home is a good result, but even in the games prior to that, like Sunderland, we can see that Edwards' football is starting to come out, and we weren't losing or drawing because we were playing bad. I guess it's just had to change a lot of route 1. 5 at the back defensive football to try and be on the front foot, so definitely very pleased with the festive results. Do you think there's any Millwall player who deserves more credit than they are currently getting? There's been a few standout players who have really picked up. I mean, Ryan Leonard is always a class act when he's actually fit, and when he is, he's one of the most consistent and best in the team. I've also liked the move of finally putting George Honeyman in his natural position where he used to play so good for Hull. With his energy and his ability to rile up opposition players like you saw with Barnes against Norwich, he likes to give it a bit, and it also helps the crowd get involved. So I'd definitely say Honeyman and Leonard are the 2 standouts that deserve more praise than what they're getting realistically. 10 points clear of relegation, 8 points off the playoffs, a tasty FA Cup game with Leicester to come. What's possible for Millwall this season? Well, 10 points clear, but also 8 points off is a good position to be. After Rowett leaving, I already said to everyone I knew that I wouldn't mind a write-off season, just stay in the league and go again next season with the new manager. But the way we were playing the players we have with Tom Bradshaw firing, hopefully Kevin Nisbet can come back in. Emakhu is just raw energy and pace, and hopefully Zion Fleming comes back into form at the right time. I do think if we can get a run going, I think we can sneak maybe in the top 10, maybe 12 12th place, but hopefully then push on next season when the transfer window bring in players that Edwards wants. We're halfway through the campaign now. What's your highlight and low light from Mill's season so far? I definitely say the low point of the season for me was Leeds at home. You want to beat them everywhere, home and away. The hatred even I have for that club. But turning up and being 3-0 down, and it was just the first time it's made me want to up and leave, so it was difficult. But the best part of the season, I'd probably say, is a 1-0 victory over Norwich. I feel like it's going to be a very big game come the end of the season. Maybe that's the point that hopefully kicks us on, and to beat a team like Norwich at the Den is always good. Transfer window, if you could take any player from other championship club for Millwall, who are you picking? I'll take this player, but I really like Connor Chaplin from Ipswich. He's just so good. Yeah. Okay. Prediction for Saturday: Millwall 2, Leicester 1. So there you go. You get the gist of that. Now, news this morning of injuries. We mentioned it yesterday. We've got actual hardcore information now that they put it out that these players will be missing for the game tomorrow. And obviously, why are they doing that? Is that to do with telling Leicester, hey, we're going to be putting out a weakened team? Is it an excuse to put out a weakened team so they won't get in trouble, or the fans get a bit upset about the weakened team? So this is from southernnews.co.uk. 3 Millwall players are set to miss tomorrow's FA Cup clash against Leicester City because of injury. Brognall Cuffy, Murray Wallace and Shaun Hutchinson have all picked up knocks after the rush of fixtures over the Christmas period and will now be absent. Norton Cuffy is out with a knee issue. Wallace has a groin strain. Dirty boy. While Hutchinson's problem concerns his calf. Oh dear. Manager Joe Edwards expects them all to be out for at least a couple of weeks, with club captain Hutchinson potentially a little bit longer. Oh dear. Will that extension get triggered? It's not going to get triggered if he's injured all the time, is it? And I guess that's probably why they exist. If you've got a player that's constantly injured, his contract doesn't get triggered. It's a major blow for Millwall, who had found their feet in recent weeks, recording a trio of wins over Queen's Park Rangers, Norwich City and Bristol City after Christmas. Norton Cuffy and Wallace had both been in impressive form, while Hutchinson was a star man and match winner in the victory over the Robins on New Year's Day. Norton Cuffy has also started 21 of the 23 games he's been available for, has appeared in every match since his debut in August 1-0 win over Stoke City, and was the only player to have started every match in Edwards' 11 games in charge. In better news for Millwall, Wes Harding is now available to play after he overcome a hamstring issue that kept him out of the last 2 games. Also, he's back now. He's back because they said he might miss this game. So if Hutchinson out, Wes Harding's back. I guess that's cool. Wes Harding can slot in and cover for Shaun Hutchinson. Speaking at his virtual press conference, Edwards said, Wes is back and trained yesterday, so he's available for selection on Saturday. Well, we've picked up some new ones. Hutch, Wallace and Norton Cuffy will all be out of the Leicester game. I think they'll be out for a couple of weeks, to be honest. I think out of the 3 of those, Hutch is like to be out a little bit longer than Murray and Brook. I don't think any of them are overly serious, but yeah, it's just the cost of the fixture pile up. I think it just caught up with us. And I think the manner of it, when you feel the players like I just have, they all did finish the game against Bristol City, although Brook came off, which was just a substitute from my point of view because I thought he looked a bit tired and Danny McNair could go on and freshen it up a bit for us. But Hutch and Murray finished the game, so it kind of gives you a bit of a telltale what those injuries are. They were all on the pitch, walked in the dressing room feeling fine, but then the next day it comes in the cost. So what do they call that? DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. DOMS. They're now out, which is a shame, particularly for Hutch with the way he performed and got the goal at the end. It looked like it would be a good chance for him to start building some momentum, which is a real shame. Murray, I thought, was excellent as well in that game, in the Norwich game. But it gives others in the squad an opportunity, but it's a shame that the 4-game run has come to a bit of a cost for us. Casper Denor remains out with an injury, while George Saville serves as second of his 3-game suspension. So there you go. So we are definitely going to be missing Casper Denor, George Saville, Hutchinson, Brognall and Cuffy, and who was the other one? Murray Wallace. So who starts? Joe Bryan starts. Malachi is on the bench, comes on because can Joe Bryan do 90 minutes? So we might see Malachi making his debut. Hesse is starting. We don't know. We don't know. We have to wait and see. What is it? 11:30 tomorrow because the game kicks off at 12:30 UK time. 11:30 tomorrow. You'll find out what the team is, and we will see. So let's get into previewing the game. This is from 11v11.com. It's the historical record of matches between Millwall and Leicester. I've sorted it so it says Millwall home first. And we haven't played them that many times, but we've played them a lot in the FA Cup, percentage-wise. We've played them something like 20 times out of 10. The first game in 1934, which was an FA Cup game, and we lost 6-3. 6-3! 9 goals in that game. Who was in goal for them? A disabled person? I don't know. 6-3. Can you believe it? Have you ever been to a 6-3? That must be the only 6-3 we've ever been involved in. Or technically a 3-6 because we lost it, so it was a 3-6. I bet you don't get many of them. There's a thing in American football, they call it scoregami. Because of the way American football scores are, there's some scores that very rarely turn up. So this, if you were to do the same thing for football, this would be one of them, 3-6. How many 3-6s have we had? But yeah, so you can see that was in January as well. So that must have been the third round if they had a third round back then in 1934. Quite a few of these in January, to be fair. So the first one, end of January 1934, we lost 3-6, 6-3, whatever. 25th of January 1969, we lost 1-0. And February 1985, so that was probably the next round, 5th round. We won 2-0. Hey ho, let's go. And then 1991, 5th of January, so that's about the same time that this game's been played. We won that 2-1. And then again, most recently, obviously, because they've been in the Premier League, they won the Premier League, and I think the season after we beat them in the FA Cup. The famous game where Ben Chilwell was too scared to take a throw in, shit his pants. He's now at Chelsea now. Can you believe that? Never have thought that when he's watching that game. And he was unable to take that throw in, but yeah, we won that game 1-0. Was it Shaun Cummings scored that goal for that game? I'm not too sure. Was it Murray Wallace? I lose track of all these cup wins that we have. Was it Murray Wallace against Aston Villa, wasn't it? Then you see we played them a couple of years later in the League Cup. We lose that 2-0. That was quite a boring game. They were playing keep ball. And now we play them again, the 6th of January 2024 in the FA Cup yet again. But you can see this game we win quite a few of it if you're including league games. Obviously they're on a different level now. They've got millions of pounds worth of talent, but will they play tomorrow? I don't know. Well, let's have a preview. Well, before we get to the preview, now television. You want to watch it? Of course you want to watch it. Why wouldn't you? 12:30 GMT. That's Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah. It's saying here that you can watch it if you have a Bet365 account. You can watch it. But again, I'm not a Bet365. I'm not involved with that. I'm a Ladbrokes. I use Ladbrokes exclusively, really. And generally, when Ladbrokes do that, you need to have a bet on. Now with Ladbrokes, I think it's like £1. So I don't know what it is with Bet365. Maybe you have to have a pound bet in, or what they do, you have to have money in your account because they expect you to live watch the game, and then they think you're going to bet on it in play. So you might have to not have a bet, but have money in your account. So if you have a Bet365 account, you can do that. And I believe that's all around the world. That's international. That's a deal that Bet365 have done with the FA. But if you are abroad in other countries other than the United Kingdom and Ireland, you can watch it on the channels that I'm showing you on. If you're in Australia, Paramount Plus. If you're in the Caribbean, not the Caribbean, the Caribbean, ESPN Play Caribbean. If you are in Central and South America, Star Plus, and various. If you're in Brazil, DirecTV Go, ESPN4. If you're in Canada, Sportsnet Now, Sportsnet World Now. Chad, if you're in Chad, DSTV Now, Supersport Maximo 1. It goes on and on and on. Sport Club Croatia, Denmark, that one there, Sixeren, whatever that means. Discovery Plus, Viaplay Denmark, Eurosport Player Denmark. So there you go. Finland, Elisaville de Viaplay. Cosmo Sport 3 in Greece. Stud 2 Sport, Stuf, in Iceland. The Zone, Japan. Are you in Japan? Sayonara, Yamatai Gudasai. If you're in Malta, lucky you, TSN 6 Malta. You get the picture. I'm not going to go through it all because I'm kind of boring myself now. Singapore, 112 Mio Sports 2. There you go. If you haven't seen it, pause it and have a look for yourself. It's all around the world. It's live. You've got many options to have a little look. Now, being the FA Cup, the normal prediction websites that I usually use don't really care. So I've had to find alternatives. But before we get to them, if you can't watch it because you're blind, you can listen to it on 5 Live Sports Extra. It's also going to be on Millwall TV, but audio only. So if you have that subscription, you want to listen to 2 Millwall commentators talking about it, the bias commentary. If you want to listen to 5 Live Sports Extra, it's on that. Which is, if you don't know, that'll be on your TV, on your radio section of your digital TV. It'll be on your DAB radio, digital radio, or it'll be on the BBC Sounds app if you've got that, or the website, which is, if you don't know, it's that one there. Sounds. It looks like that. It's like the iPlayer but for radio. Capiche? Cool. Now, like I said, I've had to go to the left field of what we'd normally go for a preview and prediction. It's this website here called thehardtackle.com. Apparently it's an Indian-based website, but it's in English. I know. And this story is by Pranev. Just Pranev. Just that, like Prince or Shirt. No first name, surname. Pranev. And Pranev seems to know what he's talking about. He's got his head clued on. Because he's got a little team, expected team. And I think he's pretty much nailed it in terms of rotating the squad. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. Millwall will face fellow Championship side Leicester City in the FA Cup third round on Saturday night. Obviously because he's in India. It's Saturday night for him. It's not Saturday night for us, mate. Millwall have held the edge over Leicester City in the FA Cup and will hope to upset their more illustrious rivals once again when the competition returns to the Den this weekend. A run of 5 games without defeat has seen the Lions distance themselves from the Championship relegation zone. Such form is something Leicester City are familiar with as they continue to hold on to the summit in the English second tier. Form means little in knockout tournaments. Indeed, Pranev, indeed. Very well said. And the FA Cup is famous for its romanticism, yes. Curiously, Leicester failed to beat Millwall in the competition since 1996. Oh, he's had a look. He's had a look at 11v11.com, eh? Maybe he watches my videos. If you watch my videos, Pranev, hello. One will have gone all the way back to 1934 to see the Foxes triumph over the Lions in the FA Cup. It will be a statistic they will be keen to rectify this weekend. Mill's most recent loss in all competitions came against Leicester when the Foxes prevailed 3-2. And yeah, that was our last defeat, wasn't it? That was our last defeat. Oh, this game, however, is unlikely to be much of a priority for both managers given they have bigger fish to fry. The hard tackle takes a closer look at the account ahead of the latest meeting between the two sides. Like I said, this is a good website. I mean, well done, Pranev. Team news and tactics. The Lions have won their last 3 games on the trot. Hey, he knows what he's on the trot. He's using English idioms and appear to be finding their best form as the second half of the 23-24 season kicks off. While clubs often dream of a deep run in the FA Cup, one can claim that Millwall would rather aim to push on and finish as high up in the Championship table as they can, perhaps even sneaking into a playoff spot if the stars align. Yes, please, Pranev. Yes, please. Joe Edwards is likely to make changes to his best 11 on Saturday. Indeed, the home side will be without Casper Denor and Wes Harding. Well, you're slightly out of date there, but no problem with that. Both of whom are nursing injuries. George Saville is also unavailable as he serves a suspension. A 4-2-3-1 formation appears to be the way forward for the home side, given Leicester's ability to dominate the ball. Depriving Enzo Maresco's side of possession should be a key tactic should the Lions prove themselves capable of pulling it off. Bartosz Białkowski should get a starting goal behind the back four of Danny McNamara. Shaun Hutchinson, well, like I said, he's obviously written this before the news come out this morning. That's no blot on Pranav's analysis here. Obviously knows what he's talking about. Jake Cooper and Joe Bryan. George Honeyman and Billy Mitchell will aim to hold the fort down, with Aidomo Emakhu and Ryan Longman providing the width. Zion Fleming is expected to don the number 10 role, with Kevin Nisbet leading the line for Millwall against Leicester City. So that's not a bad selection for a guy who lives in India. No, look, Białkowski, he's got McNamara coming in. He's got obviously Norton Cuffy was rested. Obviously, he wasn't. I don't think he knew that Norton Cuffy was injured. So that's not bad, there, is it? That wouldn't be the team I would put out. I'd put SA, probably where Fleming is, to be honest. Yeah. And we'll see how we go. And have maybe Emakhu not hard left. Yeah, I would have pushed Brian further forward and have the other three defenders shift over and then shift back when the ball's on the other side. So have a system where you have a left wing back but not a right wing back, if that makes sense. We'll play with a right full back but play with a left wing back. And then he talks about Leicester, which again, I'm not going to go through all this, but there was one thing that I wanted to know. African Nations Cup, some players missing for them. Are they gone? Where have they got? Have they gone or not? Key stats. Let's have a read of this actually. This is a 6 meeting in the FA Cup clash between Millwall and Leicester. The Foxes won 2, while Millwall have won the remaining 3. The win on Saturday will see Leicester City beat Millwall for the first time in the FA Cup since 1969. A win on the weekend will see Leicester City win consecutive away games to Millwall for the first time since 2009. Well, obviously because you wouldn't play consecutive. Well, I don't know. You need to play them in a cup and a league, wouldn't you? So that doesn't really make sense. But I'm not dissing you, Pranev. I'm not dissing you. I understand. Defeat on Saturday will see Millwall lose 5 home games in the FA Cup. In what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Defeat this weekend will see Leicester City exit the FA Cup in the 3rd round stage for the first time since 2018-19. So there you go. Prediction. So after all, you've seen it now. The Africa Cup of Nations has taken Patson Daka, while Jamie Vardy and Kelechi Iheanacho are on the sidelines. So there you go. So it seems that the guy's already left for the African Cup of Nations. Prediction: Millwall 0, Leicester 2. While Millwall have held the upper hand over Leicester City in the FA Cup for 55 years, the Foxes, even in a weaker state, have the benefit in terms of quality. Enzo Maresca's side have a proper identity and have a strength and depth to boot. While the game is unlikely to be one-sided, it should see the Foxes come away with a victory, etching their name in the draw for the 4th round. So there you go. Isn't that? But that's not bad for Indian website. Obviously, like you say, like they get all the games on TV. They know what they're talking about. Like it's not bad analysis here from Pranev from thehardtackle.com. Yeah, good stuff there, mate. But obviously he's predicted us to lose, and I had to go to the BBC to get the next prediction. I had to go all the way down the page. They did it. It's Chris Sutton and some guy called Banners. I have no idea who the fuck that is. And they've done it league by league, who's playing who. I had to scroll all the way down because nobody gives a shit about Championship versus Championship. And you can see here, Millwall versus Leicester. The gap in the league is 14 places. Chris Sutton has said Millwall are going to win 1-0. This other numpty, whoever the fuck he is, I have no idea who he is, said we're going to lose 2-1. Fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion. Millwall have won 3 in a row in the Championship, but their focus will just be to try to stop Leicester and nick a winner. I'm not sure the Foxes will be too bothered if they do bow out. Exactly. Like the guy Pranev said, bigger fish to fry. And Leicester got the biggest fish of all to fry. They want to win the league, and you think, well, they could do that at Canter, but if they get the wrong injury in this game, it could derail their season. So you certainly don't want that happening. And like we said, after the busy festive fixture list, busy for us, busy for them, busy for everyone. So we've got injuries. What about them? If they haven't got injuries, they might get them in this game. They certainly don't want to do that. Like I said, I think obviously the fact that Joe Edwards has put it out there, the players that will be missing because of injury, I think he's signalling like, hey, we're going to be rotating our squad. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Do you want to do the same? So yeah, and I think what's gonna happen. I'm gonna predict a 1-1. I think 1-1, and the worst possible result, because it will result in a replay. Replays are still in at the third round. So yeah, we have another game that we probably don't want. Although we've only got 4 games this month. One of them is an FA Cup game. So there's only 3 games in the league in January. Saturday. Against Middlesbrough, QPR, and what was the other one? I forgot who. Preston North End. So obviously the replay would come some point between those. Probably the QPR game after that. Maybe before it. So Leicester away again. Yeah, 1-1. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.